light, as taught by Freemasonry, is to do with truth and regularity and treating other people as your equals and not being so aggressive.
Hello and welcome to 22 Steps into Spirituality based on ancient Masonic wisdom. Welcome back, our wonderful speaker, Chris Earnshaw. Thank you so much for being here again with us.
Thank you.
And today it's a series of 22 videos, and this is already sadly video number 17, sadly, because I enjoy these weekly talks with Chris very much, and I know that you enjoy it too. That's why I've been watching the series. So please, let's quick jump into number 17, and I might remind you at the end of the video to just leave a comment, share all these experiences, because this is hands-on spirituality. It's not so theoretical. It's really practical advice, and I think it's one of a kind series, at least what I know on the internet. So with this, Chris, I'm giving the floor to you, and I'm looking forward for lesson 17.
Thank you. So today I'd like to look at the trowel. The trowel is a very simple instrument, triangular, used by stonemasons and builders, mainly to put cement or mortar, mortar on bricks to make brick walls. And so in Freemasonry, we think of the trowel as one of the working tools of a master mason. Master mason being a person who has passed the third degree of Freemasonry. And as a symbol, it represents the spreading the cement of brotherly love and symbolic of binding the brotherhood together. So it's a kind of, yes, binding agent. So in Taoist terms, we think probably the closest lesson would be about compassion and a soft attitude to interpersonal relationships that actually binds the world together. Because we say in Taoism, it's the strongest bonds are those that are invisible. So when we look at in more detail, so the surface teaching is about cementing brotherly love and unity, but there's a second symbolism that is a tool that helps the master mason in completing his spiritual temple as he has to build it. That's an interesting. So you're not just building relations among other brothers, but you're helping build the spiritual temple. This is a personal quest for each mason. It's actually a temple to be built inside of you. It isn't the third temple of Jerusalem. The first two were destroyed. And we say the mason's job is to build the third temple. And that is a place inside of you to meet your God and your Maker. Personally, I think this is slightly let's see, what's the good word for it? A little bit of a selfish quest, because you're working for your own improvement and it doesn't help other people. So in the introduction to all my books, and this is my latest book, the second page, the dedication, it reads, "This book is dedicated to all the brethren worldwide for their devotion to the labor of spreading light." And I think this is one of the tasks set to Freemasons, is to spread light in society. And this light is, how do you explain it? That's a book in itself, but light, as taught by Freemasonry, is to do with truth and regularity and treating other people as your equals, and not being so aggressive in America is at the present time. It's very aggressive, trying to to score a win that's bigger than what Barack Obama did it during his presidency. So, leaving politics aside, this idea of spreading light is, to me, very important. And we say in Taoism that it's often the softest thing in the world that overcomes the hardest products. So that's something to be thinking on this week, looking at my script. Yes, and that is, so today it's not just about developing yourself as a Mason, but learning what it means to be a Freemason and telling other people to spread the light in your community. And that's today's lesson.
All right, this is our second philosophical lesson without practical exercises. So I guess when we are growing within the 22 steps, we will have to expect once or twice a more philosophical element and less practical, like the beginning lesson, which maybe also makes a lot of sense. So if you're listening to this and you will promise practical stuff, well, we already have 16 lessons before where it's very clear instruction of, I think, tree hugging, pendulum, and all kind of breath work and silence work and journaling work and other things that are more practical.
This is work. This is work. You have to go into your community and not proselytize, but be a good example of a Freemason in your society. And if we say, what do we say? A smart sailor, what was it? Smart sailor is a smart ship. So if you want to represent Freemasonry, you should know Freemasonry well and represent it in a good light, and that will attract new people, we hope.
Okay, I'll leave it there, but I would very wonder, is you as a Freemason or Master Freemason, is diplomacy for you most likely the way to go when you talked in general terms about politics, not going into details? But you believe a world, I guess, like the UN and things like that, where a world can talk things out and come to peaceful solutions rather than war. Is that how I take it?
Yes. Diplomacy is through discussion. War should not have to exist in this century. It's just such an antiquated way of settling differences. And picking wars on countries and attacking them for no reason at all, just to glorify yourself. Thousands of people died. There's just so much going on at the moment. People should be able to talk to each other without carrying a stick in one hand. And the fact that we can't do it shows us that we haven't moved on in the last 500 years. Society hasn't developed. If we can't talk to our enemies without threatening them all the time.
Exactly, but that is what is the boring part in this quick conversation we're having here is exactly as you said. More than 2,000 years ago, we got the 10 Commandments, and we just can't do it. We've had a couple hundred years of enlightenment, and everybody thought we were behind all of this, and we built the UN and God knows what from the experiences of the Great Wars, and that we don't want to do it all over again. And so I'm starting a bit to worry if your brotherhood is not strong enough for what's going on there. You're supposed to run the planet or rule the world or God knows what. You're on the dollar side. I don't know. I mean, and where are the results, my friend? I might ask.
I think you've been reading the wrong sites on the internet. So I think Thomas Malthus, with his Malthusian economics, had probably had it more accurate, that the world should work through economic principles. And so that famine and for the pandemics and things like this are a natural occurrence that help to keep the population of the globe from exploding. So that's another aspect, because if everybody was always friendly and happy and there was no concern about one's safety, then every family would have 3 or 4 children, and suddenly we would not be able to feed the world's population. So that's what Malthus thinks.
All right, then
Anyway.
with this opinion, I'm being accused of reading the wrong books. You're being diplomatic in your response. We will never know, that's for sure. I will ending our lesson 17. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the little back and forward in the end. Thank you very much, Chris.